Hello, welcome to the studio here today. We're going to be doing a little bit of work on this English yew tree. It's a bonsai tree that I bought from a private collector just a few months ago. When it first came into us here at Greenwood, it did have quite a lot of shaggy growth on it, not dissimilar to the way it looks now, but one of the problems with it had an infestation of scale insect, and there was little scale insects, little brown insects on the branches. And we've since treated it and sprayed it, and it's now got rid of the scale insect, and we've fed it with Naruco. So over the last few months, it's now put on another flush of growth. So beginning of November here in the UK, so we're going to be doing some work on this, because if I leave it looking like this over winter, chances are in spring I won't get round to trimming it because we were busy working on deciduous trees. And what I don't want is for it to start budding out in spring on this growth, putting energy into new buds on this long growth that we're not going to need. So now, as a late season prune, we can get rid of these long shoots, and then it can put the energy into just sending out buds and back budding on the growth that we actually need. So we've just let it grow untrimmed. It's probably had about 4 months worth of just untrimmed growth. And we've got vigour back into it. We've got really good colour on the needles, and it's doing really quite well. So we're going to start off with a little bit of scissor pruning, and we'll show you how we go on. So the front of the tree is round there towards you, with an area of deadwood, and initially, a few months ago, I wired it, and I didn't really wire it fully, but I've pulled a few little bits of wire, branch down. This wire here is just pulling this branch down and forward. There's another little piece on here. So we'd sort of hooked a few bits around without doing a full wiring at the time. So I'm going to start on this lower branch, pruning the tree. So this growth that grows strongly upwards, I'm going to take off. And yew trees are quite unusual for evergreens because they will back bud very, very well. So we don't really have to trim back to a bud as such. We can just trim back and they'll start popping and sprouting, even from the old wood, but particularly from these new sections. So if we trim it back like this, come around here, this is a bit long on the inside of the tree there, so I'm going to shorten that back a little bit more and get rid of this long growth. This long growth it's putting out like this, long and straight. If we shorten it back in half, like so, then it will encourage it to just back bud, and we'll get more branches emerging. So here, we've got a bit of a tangle between this foliage pad and this one here, look. So let's see if we can't take off the inside of this one, and here, and leave a little bit of space for this one to appear like that. And in here, a bit of conflict between these branches. Just get these removed. So we've trimmed this one back like this, more space here. And as we work our way around the tree, as we come round the front, let me just trim this section from the front of the tree, make it easier for me to see what I'm doing. This is a little bit long. When you look from the front, this is a bit long just here. And then we can come back in as we work our way up the tree here. This branch is growing down too much. These are a little bit too long. That's growing up too much. I'll just give it a good prune. This piece here is too long. And here at the back, this is growing coming out, growing upwards, starting to lift from this point. So I'm going to take it back to here, back to a more downward facing shoot. Same with this one here, trim it back to this finer growth. Always trying to take it back to finer, more delicate growth, and not so much heavy, clunky growth and branches. In here, shorten these back, bits that are growing down too much. It's surprising what you can achieve here, you know, without doing any wiring. I haven't ruled out doing wiring on this tree, but let's just prune it first and see what sort of shape we can achieve before we actually set to doing any wiring. So these that are growing strongly upward, again, just shorten those back. That's growing down too much. So is this one. And an ideal conifer for those of you that are beginners, you know, over here in the UK, it's easy to get hold of yews. Are quite common as a hedging material, so you can buy them fairly inexpensively from nurseries and garden centres. And sort of late winter, early spring is coming up for the time of year when garden centres and nurseries will have these in stock. You know, not trees like this, but they'll have English yew in stock, younger trees, and it's a good idea to try and get some to have a go with. They respond very well to sort of this sort of clip and grow method, and they're also quite easy and flexible when it comes to wiring and shaping them. So definitely worth having in your collection for all those reasons I mentioned. Just working away up the tree steadily. Should start to see it take shape. We've got a lot of red maple leaves scattered in it. It's been growing in semi-shade. They prefer to grow in semi-shade. So this is growing outside the studio. We've just had it on a bench underneath a Japanese maple. So it's dropped a few of the leaves in autumn on top of this yew tree. Just shorten this one back here, and these. As we get into the top of the tree, we come a bit tighter in. We can lose a little bit of length on these branches. And don't forget, on the underside of the foliage pads, anything growing down too much can be taken off. Let's have a look around here at the front of the tree, and this is growing up a little bit too much. This is growing out too much. This can be shortened back. A few of these long ones in here, like that. So we're going to try and get a foliage pad in here. So this is rising up too much. So is this one. These two. The top of the tree here, there's a bit of a cluster of growth here. Try and thin some of that out. Take this section here out. And shorten these back. Try to get a bit more of a domed effect on the top of the tree. It's probably the part of the tree that needs the most work. Obviously because it's the youngest part of the tree and also quite vigorous. So there's a lot of growth up here. Just try and thin little sections of that out, like so. This bit here. Spin it around towards you. So now you're looking at the front of the tree. Just while we get this back section pruned and into shape. A few more bits just here to do. Some strong upward growing shoots here that can come off. Bit of thinning out up here at the top. This section here, this piece, shorten this back a little bit into here. It's a bit too long. So just a quick tidy up of that, and with the pruning that we've done, so without any wiring, we've brought it back into shape. Just a bit of foliage to come off just here. Some bits hanging in there. And the nooks and crannies of branches, some little buds coming out straight away from that branch can be taken off. some buds here where it's come straight from the trunk. And just pinch those out with your fingertips. A few up here in the top section of the tree, just want taking off. So now we've got rid of that long growth it didn't need. It can put on growth next spring onto this network of branch that we've now got. I think what we'll do, can't really see with this tree whether it will benefit much from wiring at this point. I say it's got a few little bits of wire on it, and it's come into quite good shape just with a sort of 10-minute scissor prune. A couple of little bits here coming a little bit tighter on that top, just into here. Just a quick autumnal tidy up at the end of the season on an English Yew, and just got to give it a weed, tidy up this surface here and top dress it. We'll top dress it with some Akadama. And this tree, we've had it a few months and it's got over its little ups and downs it had when we first got it in, and we've trimmed it 2 or 3 times. It's been well fed, it's got good vigour, good colour, and now it's been recently pruned. It can be tidied up a little bit more and it can go out on the bench for sale. Hope you've enjoyed the video today, and if you have, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more. Thank you very much.